Welcome back, everyone, to EML Premier 1. We are now, as you can see, beginning to get going for the race. My name is James Head, Alex the G, of course, alongside me in the commentary box. And Alex, after what is the closest qualifying session in EML Premier 1 so far this season, we now get going for 36 laps around Zandvoort with clear weather, perfect dry conditions for the drivers out on track. It will be a real test for them.
Yes, indeed. First of all, we definitely have to remind them to put their setups back on. Very integral part of all this, as the drivers certainly not very used to the situation, but indeed a big test. And we've had such a close qualifying session that I think anything can happen in this Dutch Grand Prix. 18 drivers will be back on the grid. Both the Aston Martin drivers, unfortunately, have not been able to back on the grid for various reasons, so that's obviously unfortunate, but indeed a big test to await the drivers. And I think track position being so key around this circuit, and with how close the qualifying session has been, we can expect no different in the race. And honestly, I cannot wait to get this underway. So if the game does actually let me press pause eventually, then I can probably also see on the racetrack if everything is correct. I believe it will be. The whole grid is set up now in the way that it was after the finish of qualifying. So certainly a big race in front of us, and 36 laps of Zandvoort, always up for a treat. So can't wait to see this.
Yeah, it should be a really good action, a really good racing, of course, out on track, really good action, of course, out on track as well. And, of course, we had I've got to say, a little bit of a shock, potentially, in terms of that qualifying session. Of course, Axelinho taking the win, the only driver that I didn't include in the 5 that were in the top 6 a little bit early on in that qualifying session, but at least he let me eat my own words and literally eat my own dirt, I think, in terms of Axelinho being out on top. But the big question, of course, now is whether drivers have remembered their setups, whether drivers are on the similar setups, or they've actually changed their setups compared to the qualifying session. And with it being beautiful blue skies and sunshine, this is actually going to test more tyre wear, I think, than ERS management. ERS management normally quite critical. Tyre wear, though, even more critical, considering it is beautiful blue skies and sunshine. 30-second countdown, by the way, has not started for me yet, so hopefully we'll get that soon.
I think the drivers probably in a slight gentleman's agreement, giving themselves some time to sort out setups and strategies and everything around that. I think fuel it's a pretty fuel heavy track as well, so I'd expect maybe a little bit more fuel for the drivers than they are normally used to, but at the same time, the potential for safety cars is always given around here at the Circuit Zandvoort. Such a tight track, not many overtaking opportunities. And with the aid of DRS, I think, it's probably going to be a race of trying to pick out your moves as best as you possibly can, make as little mistakes as possible, as that DRS does usually save you fairly well from an overtaking move happening behind. But that countdown now finally going down, 10 seconds left until lights out. Who's going to be raising the flag here in the Netherlands?
Yeah, who is going to be raising that? Indeed, Enzo. I will answer that question when we got a safety car around here. It will be forever ingrained in my memory. But the 5 lights are now coming out here in the Netherlands. Round number 7 of EML Premier 1 about to begin, and it is. Lights out away we go, and Devon gets a very good start. Axelinho, though, I think has got the better start. And actually, one of the Haas has got a problem, and that's Marcos. I mean, and a huge moment in towards turn number 1, and already we have a crash coming through Tarzan. 5-second penalty already for a severe collision with Daniel, all on the side of Hards. I'm not sure what on earth happened there, but Daniel up in an incident, Newt spun around an incident as well, all getting caught in towards Hugenholz at turn number 3. Marcel's also around in the background, but Axelinho leads, Devon in second, with Tails dropping down behind your own, and actually they're side by side up the hill, in towards Skyfleck at turn number 7. Hold tight, because this is going to get quite a wild and wacky to the outside line. Mateo doesn't get the job done in the end, and actually has to back off. There's an incident again, I think, further in the background. Spies are very close to each other. Not sure what happened there off the start, though. Whatever happened, though, Axelinho leads the way. Devon in second, perfect for the Yazoo boys, 3rd and 4th. Marcos there in 5th. Still nearly incidents going on in the background. I've shown hard racing early on. Axelinho leads, Devon in second, and rallying in 3rd. Not on earth what should happened up the start. I can only assume cold, hard compounded tyres catching the TF10 boys out.
Yep, I'm thinking just that, honestly. Knut had a big moment at the race start, and that has unfortunately sent Daniel out as well. I think Marcel's incident then was unrelated but they're TTF in the middle. They're struggling a lot. Both having big moments there, but Markados might be one to have a little look at Rick here as he goes to the inside. Whoa, switches very late, but that is too late. And Jerome might just have a look at this one and think, yes, I might just take this one, and he does indeed. He takes the position of Markados. A little contact is being made, but brilliant move from Jerome, capitalizing from that slight collision. Goes slightly deep though, and now Markados is actually back on the hunt again. Oh, no. A lot of ERS already being used, and into Cyflux. This is going to be very interesting. Jerome, the inside line, looks to keep ahead, finally in front of this turn 7. Very well done from Jerome. Some great opportunism. 2, 3, 4, and 5 with FBR and Shazoo. Shazoo in a little sandwich, actually, if you will. But Axelinho up top, this is a little bit of an upset.
It is a little bit of an upset. He had that really good start. That second phase of the start was so strong from the NLR man, and he obviously led the way. Devon there in second, got a really good start. His launch was actually better out of everyone else. Markados in behind got a really slow start. I actually thought he had a wheel issue potentially in terms of coming down towards turn number 1. I'll get the track map up, by the way, which I've just noticed is missing on the right-hand side. Absolutely the lead at the end of lap 2. DOS, of course, is enabled down in towards turn number 12 this lap around. Markados, though, look to the inside of your own, but what he did there was be very, very fair to Rick. He let Rick go, he let your own go as well, and that's, I think, the fairest of lot. He was going to lose the position, I think, anyways, to your own. And Markados, he has skilled himself from F3 all the way up to F1, of course, and PSGL. He is a much improved driver compared to when I used to commentate on him in F3. Really good to watch, and the man knows a lot more sportsmanship as well. He was always a sportsman in F1, in PSGL F3, but that proved it, I think, in EML tonight. He's there in 6th and not out of contention either. Nuke, by the way, into the pit lane. Daniel into the pit lane as well. He had front wing damage. I don't think Nuke actually picked up front wing damage. He's in there on that side of medium, companatized. Daniel as well on that side of mediums. Endel saying as well in the chat, how unlucky can VIR get? Yep, totally agree. And Nuke, unfortunately, just because he had pure cool tyres on that side of hard compound tyres, Daniel, wrong place, wrong time, got swiped.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunately just how it goes sometimes. It's such a shame, of course, to see a race unravel like this. But again, at Zandvoort, there's always potential for something new to happen. And I think Markados might just be eyeing a move again still. He's a bit far behind, though, for my liking, behind Jerome. But that ERS is being drained a lot, I think, from all of these guys. Shazoo, I think, with the better management here, actually using barely any of his battery so far, 90% still at the very top of this field. This racing is only going to spice up once the ERS comes in, and that obviously has started last lap, so I reckon now the racing is going to get spiced up a lot. But at the same time, Zandvoort, we know how tricky a spot it is, how tricky a track it is to overtake, so perhaps some surprises might also be going on for the drivers if they do want to make an overtaking move work. Knut there at the back now setting that fastest, but yeah, it's certainly not the start of the race you would want it. And for that TF10 team as well, of course, making their first appearance, certainly not what they were looking out for. At least they've got Markados still engraved in this big train. It lasts pretty much all the way down the grid, down to Marcel, who's had a spin. Into turn 2, I believe it was. So even there, he's still got that DRS. It's currently 16-man train in this Zandvoort race, and that is crazy. So the top 2 are starting to separate a little bit. I think Devon might be looking for something here already on Axelinho.
Yeah. Here he comes on the back down and towards turn 1 at Tarzan. He's going to breeze past to the inside line, already getting outside of a rally into a second, and Devon takes the lead of the race in towards turn 1. Grosjean on the back of Sade. It was the very much interesting battle further down the field. It was Keke actually challenging Grosjean just before the corners. He must have made a mistake coming out of Harry Lundijk. He's there in 12th position, doing a good job for the NLR team. Grosjean's gained 5 positions, by the way, off the start. 3 positions gained for Keke, 4 for Sade, so this is really good in terms of their position gains and in terms of points scoring as well. 18 positions, everyone scored points as it stands. Nathan Daniel a second and a half quicker than everyone else out there ahead on that sort of hard compound tyres at this stage as well. But of course, they are going to have to pit again. Everyone else will be on a one-stop strategy if there's no safety cars out on track. As right on your Bracker, interesting, get side by side coming through turn number 8. I think that might have been actually a bit of a lunge there from your bracket to get to the inside line. In the end, Rodada, I think, has managed to outgun him around the outside, gets the job done, and now ET8 or 7th and 8th position. Rodadell there in 8th, Ibraka there in 9th, but the big split in the train has now happened. That 1.2 second gap is absolutely crucial, and that really means the likes of Markadors on the back of your own can really get on with things. And speaking of him, coming through the right hand of the bank in Ari Lundai, he's got to think about this move down in towards turn 1. Is he going to risk it very much to the inside line again? No, dummies it to the outside line, in towards turn number 1. The Haas tries to go all the way around the outside, and in the end doesn't. I think Broshan and Salih have had a bit of a coming together in the background shot as well. But Markadors still on the back of your own, and Keki and Salih were big things kicking off in the background.
It was a bit of a mistake actually from Yalpi,
no.
Which has allowed Keki to play. There's a lot of contact being made. Keki is literally surpassed both of them, and now Simon still alongside Williams. Now Keki's got the position, getting 2 places there in basically 2 corners, and 5 places in total already. So currently NL 2 and 10. I think they can be happy with how the start of this race has gone, but now, yeah, it's really starting to spike up. I think Jerome, certainly one who's struggling for pace a little bit more, and Markadors is seeing that, putting a lot of pressure on the Dutchman. But so far, Jerome can hold on to the position he has got in the train P5. You really don't want to be losing position in the DRS train. And yeah, Jerome knows that. He wants to keep his place, but that ERS is looking very low. I think Markadors soon might just be edging on the back of that Roy. Now he sees that red light flash, and I think this is the biggest invitation that Markadors can get to perhaps make a move. Starts on both. Jerome defends to the inside, but the outside is often a good spot to take as Markadors swoops all the way around. Can he now do this into the turn 2 bend? This is tight, but now it's the inside. This is looking very good. This is just the racing. Markadors is through P5.
Absolutely brilliant battle between them both. Markadors and your own, no quarters given. That is racing right there. That's how you overtake around Zandvoort as well. Just a little bit of an out muscle there for Markadors, literally showing your own the banking quite literally on the outside of Markadors through, and he's into 5th. But very, very fair racing. Oh my god, Markadors is round, coming through turn number 8. I thought he saved it. I thought he was so close to saving it. In the end, that could have been save of the season, turned into a spin, and that is unfortunate. He did not deserve that at all. All of that hard work now gone in smoke. Your own, however, FVR now 1.3 seconds outside of the Shazoo boys, which is crucial, and that actually plays perfectly into Aurelian and Rick, who's actually catching back of Axelinho, and Axelinho, I think, is just saving a bit of a ERS at this stage, so that might be why he's catching.
Yeah, I think so. I think Aurelian's gap actually got pretty big there to Axelinho. Now there is a difference of about 30%.
Oh, here's Mateo to the outside line. Sorry to cut you off, Alex. To the outside line at turn number 1. He's came absolutely blitzing around the outside. Beautiful stuff from Mateo. Gets the job done. Phoenix is going to try and rise from the ashes as well to try and get this job done through turn number 1. In the end, doesn't get the job done. It's Grosjean 11, Phoenix 7, 12. But Mateo capitalises on that spin for Markadors. Say thank you very much. ET8, no other opportunities needed. Mateo Thuni's into 5th, but it's still 1.5 seconds outside of each other. And if I was in Mateo's shoes, I'd actually let the guy behind me go.
Yeah, this is now interesting to how this will develop. The gap is not going to get smaller just from pure pace, because that DRS zone is pretty powerful down into turn 1. But certainly he's now going to have to try anything he can. I think this probably the separation that the top 4 may be working for. And the best position even, I would almost say, still for the Shazoo team with both cars in that top 4 train. The only team to have both cars in that top 4. And FVR and Shazoo only separated by that one lone NLR Ranger. And I think this is actually looking fairly interesting as to how he's going to shape up this grid.
Yeah, and there's a huge desync going on, by the way, in Premier 2. I'm not sure what's actually happening in Premier 2. There's yellow flags across the whole circuit, apparently, at this stage. Just looking from the Discord. I'll try and tune into Premier 2 in just a second. Devon, though, leads the way. Axelinho in second, Aurelian there in third. I think there was a fake move there from an impact down and towards turn 1 on the back of Phoenix. He was looking to try and get 30s into turn, into that P12 position. Markadors behind these guys, obviously, is going to be a lot quicker, but if I was in Markadors' shoes, I'd be saving up on that ERS. 21% compared to Impact and 41%. Phoenix on 25. Markadors does want to try and get these jobs done as soon as possible and as literally as clean as possible as well. And Impact is the first man out on track for him to get, and he'll be hoping that he doesn't have to have that Impact out on track making contact with him. But Markadors in 14 on the back of Impact. Looks to the outside line of turn number 10 at the CM.com bend. tries to look to the inside line on the switchback, but again, his setup is very, very squirrely on the exit. He just doesn't get the traction down, and in the end, Marquez stays there in 14, and he is in a bit of traffic at this stage as Giron is challenging Matteo back to that 5th position.
Yeah, Andy Giron now closing up on that McLaren again. I think, yeah, this might just be a little battle to be having a look out for, but the ERS is just too low. Yeah, he can't make it work, can he? As now Matteo does defend to the inside, Giron goes to the outside. Can he make this work now to the outside of turn 1? Actually, very good defending from Matteo. And Giron just doesn't get the drive. The switchback into the Hugenholz spot, but again, it's just that inside the racing line on this game. It's just on the inside of the corner. So that's how simple it is for Matteo there to hold off and hold on to the position. Now a 2-second gap between Matteo and Rick in front of him as Giron getting very close to the back of that McLaren. He does want business, he means business, and I think he might just have a little bit more default on that car, seeing how close he can stay through this middle sector.
Yeah, he really does mean business, definitely. Ryderdal's right with this as well. Yeah. In there in 7th position. Marquez, though, still can't get through an impact further down the field. He is going to be literally screaming at himself, I think, in terms of that mistake. He just took too much curb. He basically, the underfloor of the car just bellied the curb, basically, and sent the car spinning off, and that's what happened there. Devon, by the way, interesting now getting Axelinho out of a second. Axelinho is outside of DRS range this time around, and Devon has now got him fully on the stretch down and towards turn number 1. Ryderdal though looking on the back of Giron, not looking back on the of himself as he looks to the outside line of turn number 1. Giron's went a little bit too deep, perfectly positions the car. No way Ryderdal's getting past that. That was beautiful positioning from Giron there in seg. I think somebody has literally taken the trickery potentially at the FER handbook there. Giron through, and he's still in 6th position. But that position of the car might have just been the best position of the car I think I've seen on this game, period.
Can only agree with that. Yep, that's just what you need to do around Zandvoort as well, because this is the only big overtaking opportunity. The rest is just simply surprised. He's never catching up. Around now in this middle sector. That is a big shame for the Swede now as he spins. Yeah, purely on traction there. Big mistake. That allows Kane through to P8. He's made up 7 places. Most of any driver on this grid so far. And this race just keeps on killing so far. There's barely a third done. And yeah, so many changes happening already. These drivers now, everything is basically going to depend on how little mistakes you make, how well you can avoid those, and then how well you can get through the order, if you can at all. As I think actually, this makes it back into DRS range now, but the top 4, I think, are getting slightly pulled apart even within the DRS range now. Evan leading there from actually Ryan in 3rd, and Rick still in 4th. Still both Chizou drivers in that DRS range top 4. This is certainly the best position they've been in, or they can be in, certainly for this Zandvoort race. And I think that DRS is only going to pull them away further from Matteo. That gap is almost 3 seconds now. And yeah, apart from an undercut, from a big undercut from the guys behind, I don't see how this gap is closing. Or, of course, safety car, but you can never bank on this. But it's certainly something that some drivers like TF10 or even, VAR they're right at the back, would certainly like. But yeah. As I said, yeah, you can't really back on this. As Aurelian is slightly struggling actually to keep up with this top 2. After Never, putting on very, very good pace. The 2 drivers are. So certainly it's not easy at all. And the one driver you named that perhaps wasn't in this esports split is
Marquez
very, very strong. That's Marquez. Yeah, Marquez round again. Oh, what a terrible race for the TF10 drivers so far.
He's kept it out the wall, I think, coming out of turn number 10. Alexandra, by the way, in the chat saying, I don't get what he's saying. I think that's in reference to your mic, potentially, and the Dalek sounds that are coming out of it at this stage. I'm sorry to say, there's nothing I think he can do about it. He is hosting the lobby at this stage as well, so I don't think there's anything that can be done to fix it. We'll try and fix it, though, regardless, I think. Alex is going to, of course, do that in the background. But Devon leads the way. Axelinho in 2nd. Aurelian there in 3rd, Rick there in 4th. Of course, that fakes hopefully will be coming very soon, and hopefully we can give you the best standards, of course, of commentary as possible. It's not normally like this, by the way. I know it does do this from time to time, because I've heard it in the background before, when he's hosted the lobby in EML Premier. But still, that is what happens when you are lobby hosting, commentating at the same time. Luckily, he's not streaming, otherwise I don't think we would have a stream right now at this stage. But Devon leading leading the way, and again, has got Axelinho outside of a second, but Axelinho was managing his EOS so well. I thought it was going to be more time management. We were saying in the little off piece before the race actually begun, that I thought it was going to be more tyre wear related. In terms of EOS though, Axelinho's got more EOS. Devon is really pushing through the final couple of corners. He's got Axelinho outside of a second, but Axelinho has got that extra EOS to use up, and that is going to be crucial come later on in the race, and crucial, of course, for the pit stops. Whoa! Oh, Axelinho has a huge moment out of turn number 1. Commentator's curse of the century, and Aurelian's now through and he's into second, and Axelinho, too much throttle on the curb, turn number 1. He missed the curb actually, it was just too much throttle on the exit of the corner. Rick is right there with 56% of EOS there to try and gain on Axelinho. So unfortunate for the NLR man, didn't deserve that at all, and Devon is now 2 seconds clear of the rest of the field.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Devon, probably the best position he could be in, albeit he not having any EOS, of course, now that he's used pretty much all of it. But yeah, quietly, Rick there at the back, saving up some of that ERS, a lot more than any other of them, any other drivers have in front of him. But now, Axelinho in that Shizou sandwich, I think this is going to be a very interesting situation from him. And now Devon is just looking to pull away, and in his home race, he's looking very good, isn't he?
He is looking really good indeed at this stage. Impact, by the way, nearly had a sort of impact on the back of Spicer coming through as that Rick is right on the back of Axelinho. I'm going to cut myself off of what I was going to say is Rick is now on the back of Axelinho. 4P3 defends to the inside line. Is he going to go all the way around the outside? He might actually get blocked in by his own teammate here. Aurelian, though, pulling off the perfection move.
Whoa.
And this is brilliant from the Shizou boys. That is masterful from the Shizou boys. NLR will not like that whatsoever. Axelinho especially won't like that. I absolutely love that tactic from Shizou. Devon in the end, 2.5 seconds. They've literally said to themselves, Devon's too far up the road, let's try and battle for second position. That's exactly what they've done. And Aurelian backed up, basically followed the throttle. He was saving up a little bit of ERS as well in towards turn number 1. Basically, didn't want to block his teammates in. Rick had such a good run coming out the exit of turn number 1. He had that slipstream on the exit as well. That's what got him that P3. Masterful from the Shizou boys. NLR will not be happy with that at all.
That was brilliantly executed. I mean, yeah, can't argue against this. Rick with a very, very nice move there, and I think Aurelian played a part in that as well. That was brilliant to watch. And actually, you know, yeah, he's gonna be biting into that steering wheel now. He must be so frustrated at this point. But I'm just looking at this gap between Devon and Aurelian still skyrocketing. I mean, how quick is this guy today? This is brilliant stuff from the FBR driver. So FBR now looking to perhaps limit it a little bit. Rick now having to stay behind this team, and maybe this isn't even all the greatest strategy to go for, but at the same time there is more ERS to play there. Write it down now. The first driver to pit for the mediums. The pit stop phase now starting, and yeah, right it down onto the mediums. Big cut. He's going to come out probably in clear air if he's lucky, as Marketos will come flying on this pit straight. And I think, yeah, Ryder coming out in some very clear air. So now the strategy is starting to come into play, and I think the leaders, some of the leaders at least, will be following very soon.
Yeah, definitely so. Everyone now saying Robo Alex in the chat as well, which is exactly what I'm getting as well through my headset, so don't worry at all. It is literally not a stream thing, it is just purely his internet, I think. Just cracking up, I think, at the thought of another 20 laps of Zandvoort. Hopefully it holds. Hopefully we get to the end of the race. Devon leads the way from Aurelian there in second, Rick there in third, Axelinho there in fourth. And Axelinho now building up that ERS once again, but he doesn't have the pace. He's actually blistering quite a lot on that rear right compound of tyre. Big black wall basically going through the middle of the compound, as I think the Shizou boys are going to now change position. Rick to the inside line of turn number 1. That's what they should have done, I think, last lap around. It's claimed a little bit too late for my liking. Rick, though, into second, Aurelian in third, and Aurelian, I think that was tried potentially to go for that second position. Rick now ahead. He's obviously got the pace compared to Aurelian. Aurelian, though, masterful again from the Shizou boys, because I've just thought he has saved up that ERS. 24% of ERS he has saved up. He's done a fantastic job. Joey, by the way, as well, saying, people often think I join to watch my drivers, but I'm here to listen to James Head. That's nice. That is really, really nice. It motivated me to do a bit more. Definitely leads the way. Rick in second, Aurelian in third. Good news for you, Joey. You've still got me for another 19 laps.
19 more. it's only halfway in this race. I hope you can understand me in any way, but yeah, I don't have any control over this. I've put something in chat so that you can at least read along with me. I don't think you have these internet breakups in that. But yeah, indeed, it's such strong pace so far from FBI. I don't see this cracking at all here for Devin. And yeah, some strong racing there going on. And that swap, I would say that swap was coming, as there was more ERS for Rick available, and now I think we'll still be having a hard time to find a way past Aurelian there. So I think this is probably the best that Shizuka so far at the moment, as a challenge for Devin is looking quite unlikely.
Grosjean into the pit lane, now we're going to get a move as well with the other ace man, and actually it's going to be a move backwards because Grozny to the inside line of turn number 1 tries to get it all the way down the inside line. Still there though, Impact around the outside. Fair play to Impact, brilliant stuff, holds around the outside, clean sailing, both on the same strategy. Perfection there from the ace man, but absolutely pulled out the ace of the yeah, that's not going to work. Grozny there in 13th, Impact there in 12th. I tried to be smart with a pun, didn't work. Impact though in 12th, Grozny there in 13th. Impact though had the ace hand over Grozny. There you go.
Whoa! Right. Well, how do I counter this? How do I counter this? That is brilliant.
And Spicer has a huge moment just ahead as well.
Well, what can you say? It's the middle of the race. The strategy soon come into play, and the drivers are now having to push as much as they can. But these old hards, they will not go very, very much longer. Will there be any of the front runner pitting in? I don't think so. The top 4 are staying out. We've got McLaren heading in, though, and that is Armateo reacting now to the stop sign. Keki looks to no, Keki's staying out. That was the Tylu who's coming into the pit lane. And yeah, a lot of strategy will now be starting to decide. His Impact is in 2, having lost the position on lap 4. And yeah, now we're going to see what tyre
here comes Rodadol. Sorry to cut you off, Alex. On the outside line in turn number 1. Mateo's on the inside of turn number 1 as well. He's going to be ahead. Rodadol might just get ahead of Marcados, but these two now to war in towards Gerlach at turn number 2. Goes all the way around the outside on the mediums now and towards Hugenholtz at turn number 3. Little bit of a break there from Rodadol. That was purely on the banking, I think, rather than anything else. Rodadol was going to get that move done anyways. He had the car ahead. He's through ahead of Marcados, but what I was going to say, and I was itching to come in a little bit earlier, is literally say Mateo there in 11th. Rodadol was getting held up by Marcados. If he didn't get held up, and actually a huge desync from Rodadol has sent him spinning through turn number 8. Absolutely huge desync from Rodadol. Sends him spinning out of turn number 8. That was caught on stream as well, just for the benefit of everyone. Devin leads the way. Rick, though, into the pit lane. Axelinho follows in as well. And also following in is a very fast Jerome into the pit lane. My God, I thought he was going to overshoot the pit lane for a second there. But they're all into the pit lane. Devin now has to react, but why wouldn't he react? He's going to be, what, 4 seconds clear still of Aurelian when they come out the pit lane, of course.
That's actually a lot of drivers pitting in there, and Armateo, he's the one, of course, who's had this big undercut on the others, and look how close he is now. This is wow, hasn't it? Will he be ahead of Jerome? This could be tight. Now into turn 3, going all the way on the outside. If he makes this work, oh, this is going to be move of the season if he pulls this off. Jerome has a bit of a snap, but it's through. That is fantastic. Jerome is still looking to get through on the McLaren, but that is absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, what a move that is.
Absolutely sensational from Mateo, right around the outside of Hugenholtz at turn number 3. Yes, he had a lot better traction. Jeroen probably had the better tyres at that stage as well. Certainly didn't have the ERS to counter that either. Mateo with a masterful move again. Masterful is going to be my favourite word tonight. Absolutely wondrous from Mateo to get that job done. He's ahead of Jeroen, and now ET8 have now thrown their hat into the ring, because here comes Devin and Aurelian into the pit lane, and they're just coming out of turn 12 and turn 13. I think Devon's going to be miles clear of the rest of the field. Grozny coming through is into the pit lane as well. So we are going to get Devon a good 5 seconds clear, I think, of Aurelian and of Rick. As Rick comes down towards turn number 1. Aurelian is side by side with his teammate coming out the pit lane. And this is going to work in Rick's favour. Rick there in 2nd, Aurelian there in 3rd, Axelinho in 4th, and Mateo has got ahead of Jeroen. Crucially, though, has stayed ahead of Yabraka and Keki, who have actually jumped Marcados, Silu, Phoenix, Rodadal and all of that as well.
Ooh, Marcados now coming to the inside. Bit of a switchback happening.
Go on.
And, can he make this work? No, he's going to be on the outside. for turn 7, but I think this can start.
No.
Now he backs out of it. Keki stays ahead, and I think, yeah, probably just started this decision to make there.
Yeah, fair play to him. Fair play to him from Marketers to even let that move happen. I thought it was going to happen around the outside of Skyflack at turn number 7, which would have sent me literally absolutely insane. Axelino, by the way, on the back of Aurelian. Here he comes to the outside of turn number 11 at Hanshurst. Tries to get the job done, but doesn't, and that was the first shot fired from Axelino on the back of Aurelian. Shazoo, I think, are now trying to capitalise on a 2-3. Unless there's a safety car out on track, I don't see Rick and Aurelian certainly catching on the back of Devon, who has looked imperious out on track so far. But here comes Axelino, the NLR man, to the inside on at turn number 1 at Tarzan. Nearly forced towards the pit wall there by Aurelian, but goes to the inside on at turn number 1 and cascades his way in towards turn number 1. Job done from Axelino. Beautiful stuff. Wing mirrors apart. Axelino through and he's into 3rd, and that is overtaking the race for me.
I'm sorry, I'm quickly actually just putting it up. Yeah, Axelino, indeed. Very good move going on there for the NLR man. He's now splitting the Shazoo team, but he's not going to have to get a big push on to stay with Rick, who's now using a lot of his DRS. And that 1 second gap is looking very threatening for Axelino, as Aurelian certainly will be looking for a move again on the NLR man.
Yeah, definitely so. It's good to see Alex is keeping concise, by the way, with his internet connection, which is good. And he is actually sounding a little bit more favourable, on my end at least, and hopefully it's the same on your end as well. Rick, though, in 2nd, beginning to pull Axelino outside of a 2nd. This is going to be, now, Rick's decision. What does he do? Does he hunt down Devon without lap pressure tyres, or does he stay there for that battle for 2nd, purple in the middle sector as well? Does he stay and battle with Axelino and Aurelian and try and secure that 2nd position for Shazoo, and then maybe even bring Aurelian into mix in 3rd position? I think we'll certainly see the latter rather than the former, as Devon bangs in the new fastest lap of the race. Bettered though by Rick by 0.2 of a second, coming across the line there with a 1:12.4. Devon though leading the way, Rick there in 2nd, Axelino there in 3rd. Hopefully you are doing very well, by the way, in the chat. If you are, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. I will promise you TML F1 tomorrow and TML F2 on Friday. You will at least have TML F2 on Friday. TML F1 sadly not looking good in terms of attendance again, so we might have to scrap that one in Singapore. That, of course, will be decided tomorrow. Devon though leading the way, Rick in 2nd, and 4.4 seconds the gap between Devon and Rick. Shazoo, I've played this absolutely perfectly in terms of their strategy for 2nd. In the end, though, nothing is going to happen for the race lead unless we get a safety car in this race, which, judging by how drivers have been out on track, Alex, it's going to be very unlikely.
Yep, there's not much more to add to that. Devon is looking absolutely dominant, imperious, as you said already. And yeah, doesn't look like anything will be coming his way. Let's look for a challenge here.
Axelino had a moment there, coming out of turn number 12. Bit of a snap there, lost 10th of a second as a result. Aurelian's going to try and hunt him down in towards turn number 1 as well. But everything just beginning to calm itself down, apart from Silu potentially on the back of Markedos. Down in towards turn number 1. Is Markedos just going to let him go? Bit laggy down the straight, I've got to be honest. Markedos, sorry, they'll pose to the inside on the FRL man, and Markedos in the end, fair play to him, doesn't want to get involved in this. TF10's battles, I think, are done for the night. Nutha certainly came in the pit lane on a set of softs, but Sardu through and he's into 9th. Markedos there in 10th, and in the end, you better let the driver go ahead, that is quicker, and gains FRL more points as well. And FRL actually, as Markedos has a bit of a slide there, and a bit of a wheel waggle coming out of turn number 4, literally, I think, saying, you know what, come through, thank you very much. This is me done, I think, for this tonight. And Sardi's in behind. I'm going to try and hold your teammate up.
Yeah, it looks like it's a double top 10 at the moment for FRO. So good performance from them. But I think in general that just seems to be, as you've seen as well with the D thing earlier on, there just seems to be some Zandvoort problem on this game. Because from personal experience, this is the 3rd time I've already had it happen in less than 3 weeks. So I hope it actually isn't. I hope it's just a general Zandvoort problem. So this is just not EML.
Yeah, you're sounding fine now, by the way, which is really good news to everyone in the chat, which is fantastic. I don't know if somebody's been using up your Wi-Fi potentially in your house, potentially, but yeah, you never know.
Hope not.
Literally, it's literally life. It is literally life at the end of the day. It's just fixed itself randomly. But Devon leads the way, 4.8 seconds. Rick there in second. Wish we could bring you more action for the race lead, but it's just simply not happening. Devon has just been in absolute imperious form, and this was the threat that the FER man had. He was quick last week in France, and then got, of course, outdone in terms of strategy in that race. Jeroen also racing in that race as well. He got outdone in the final laps of the race there by the Shazoo boys, and Devon, leading the way by 5 seconds, has literally rocked up to his home race and is doing a fantastic job. And actually, as it stands, I think we're getting Dutch 1-2 at this stage as well, with Rick in second.
Indeed, yes. It's looking very good for the Dutch drivers here, and 5 seconds up top with 12 laps or 11 laps to go soon. That is absolutely so impressive from Jeroen, sorry. Jeroen's teammate, of course. Devon, apologies. He is PSGLF2, which I think we have to point out here. This is actually very, very good to see that PSGLF2 is now topping PSGLF1, and by what margin? With Rick in second there. Actually, still splitting the two PSGLF1 drivers from Shazoo, of Rick and Aurelian there, still holding the flag in third for NLR after starting from pole, but that little mistake there has just cost him. Now he's looking to trail as Phoenix now gets past Marcados. I'd imagine no big fight going on there as well. So both are in the top 10. And I think Marcados, he's just had a race to forget. So has his teammate. So they're just looking to bring this home to the end, finish this first race, and then I suppose fresh start again next time out.
Do you know how I said Devon was in PSGLF1? A little bit earlier on. You're right, he's in PSGLF2, and I should know because he's actually I'm actually commentating on that. Goodness me.
That's what I thought.
Terrible. But the PSGLF2 man is doing a fantastic job, and I think this is the pace that he's always threatened from PSGLF2, even when I've watched him, at Silverstone especially. He is a king at Silverstone. He's taken every single win in PSGLF2 since I've been there in Britain. Of course, wow. Britain not on the calendar this season, but Devon is 5.1 seconds clear of Rick. These are no slow coaches at the end of the day in behind. Devon has just purely been absolutely dominant out on track, and it's been fantastic to watch from the commentary box. I would have loved to be in his shoes right now, leading the race by 5.1 seconds and actually trying to get a race win, but some things never change and never happen.
Yeah, I mean, same thing here, honestly. Who wouldn't love to be in this position that Devon is in? Certainly his teammate, I would say, Jeroen, would like to have a position a bit further up the field than he has right now in P6. After, of course, in qualifying, let me quickly get this up, being in P... well, I've got a single line there. Is it P6 or is it P8?
Which one?
Jeroen.
P8, yeah, he gained 2 positions.
P8 actually, yeah, because it doesn't show an arrow for me. It's just a straight hyphen there in P6. So interesting. Thanks, game. But indeed, Jeroen is certainly one who would like to be a bit further up, so that FBR can close that gap ever so slightly to Shazoo. But now they are still in with such a strong team performance. I mean, 2 and 4. Can you really complain about what Shazoo have been doing on this track? They'd like to get this 2 and 3, but I think later on, Marcados there, I think at the back, just making
he's
more
got a puncture!
mistakes.
He's got a puncture! I was wondering what happened there. He's got a front left puncture. That's what's happened there with Marcados. And in the end, Impact nearly hit the wall in the background and shot there as well. But Marcados, front left puncture and rear left puncture. He's got 2 punctures on the car.
Oh, goodness.
Absolutely unbelievable. Marcados hit the curb through turn 11 and then just got completely sent sideways. Unfortunate, because I was about to say Rodadell was all over the back of him. He didn't need to be. But Marcados, if TF10's racers could not get any worse, a double puncture is rubbing salt right entirely in the wounds there of the TF10 boys. I've never seen a double puncture before around here either at Zandvoort, which is very interesting. But Marcados into the pit lane, he's on that sort of mediums. At least he's not going to be last coming out the pit lane. Daniel is in behind on that sort of hard compound tyres and just having his own race there for the VIR team down in 18. I think being told by this point just to pick up the points no matter where you finish, and there still could be a safety car, because I mean we're still on lap 28 out of 36. We've still got time potentially of having a safety car out on track. But Devon, the further this race goes, the further he goes clear. 5.6 seconds down the gap. I said it was 5.1 2 laps ago. This is just extraordinary from Devon. This man, I think, has qualified for F1 Esports Challenges as well, if I'm not mistaken, which is why I think his pace has been so good. And he is really corresponding that to absolute perfection. He is doing such a good job out on track. I'm not going to speak him more highly than what I already am on the stream, and I certainly don't want to show more bias towards him either, just because he's a PSG LF2 man. But honestly, he has done a fantastic job. It's 5.7 seconds. That gap is just extending away. Rick, Axelino and Aurelian with Matteo, Jeroen, and now Yabraka and Keki all of a sudden who have got into this battle. It is basically a 6-car fight now for third, beginning to happen out on track. Rick is staying ahead, keeping his head above water there for second. Axelino there in third was the real loser, I think, in terms of the pit stops and in terms of the tyre wear as well. Aurelian on the lap pressure tyres, now beginning to put pressure, and he's got more ERS as well, nearly double the amount of ERS in fact as Axelino.
Yeah, this is one of the big traits now here at Zandvoort. Basically, that short first DRS zone, it is a fairly long straight, of course, but the DRS zone itself could be doing with a slight extension, particularly on this game. But I think now Aurelian might be looking for something. He's now using that battery, and will Axelino realize that early enough, or will he just let this position go? Oh, that is late. Very, very late. Aurelian still to the outside. Oh, can he make this work? But actually, you're getting a slight point again. Yes, Aurelian through the outside. That is beautiful stuff. And 2 and 3 now for Shizou, a double podium. Axelino simply cannot hold on to this position.
If it wasn't for that slide from Axelino coming out of turn number 1, they would have been side by side coming out of the corner. Absolutely guaranteed about that. But Aurelian through and he's into third. Aurelian probably remonstrating, probably putting a fist up, possibly at Axelino there, saying, why on earth were you moving alongside me in the braking zone and towards turn number 1? In the end, didn't really need it. He had the traction going around the outside. He was basically a front wing ahead before Axelino had that moment. So Aurelian, I think, possibly could have got that job done out of turn number 1. In towards turn number 2 at Gerlach, but really good racing between them both. Axelino, though, now needs to focus. He has got to get his head back in the game at this stage. Matteo there in 5th is on the back of him. He's got slightly less ERS, 7% less ERS, but Matteo is a very quick man, and he's normally very, very good on his tyres, as proven, of course, in Bahrain earlier on in the season. I think was it last season or earlier on in this season of EML Premier 1. Matteo proved it, that he can get to the end on basically 18 lap worth of tyres. That's what he's going to have to do here in Zandvoort as well. And if there's any man that can challenge Axelino, it'll be him. As Jeroen now beginning to drop off. Yabraka and Keki are now in a private battle. Rotterdam's on the back as well. A Phoenix trying to lunge it to the inside line at turn number 1. The Swede clearly having his IKEA biscuits potentially into turn number 1 there. If he was going to think. I'm not even sure if IKEA do biscuits, but still. Spicer there at 13 and Grosjean on 14 also having a battle. But in the end, not good enough from Rotterdam to get that job done. And Yabraka, Jeroen, that split I think is going to come in the mid-pack. 6th downwards is the split from Jeroen.
Yeah, somehow we
hang on.
always say this.
What's happening with Rick? It's more tactics from Shizou, that's what it is.
Oh, is it? That is looking so interesting, isn't it? Not for Devon. Devon is clear of the rest of the field, but Rick, indeed, he now has to pull this off to get his teammate across the line in 3rd place there for Aurelian, of course. I don't see too many moves happening, unless perhaps a late move towards the end of the race, but it's only 5 laps to go. I don't really know if there's much possibility for a little shuffle to come in, but certainly right now Dutch 1-2 is on the cards, as was earlier, but Aurelian now in 3rd instead of Axelino.
Yeah, definitely so. Indeed, I believe that is you in the comment section, as I've just literally said towards when we have that little bit of a break. As Spicer and Grosjean are now getting at it, coming through the left-hander at turn number 2 and Gerlach all the way around the outside. Grosjean, brilliant stuff! On much more wearing tyres, Spicer tries to get back up and under, coming through Hugenholz, but in the end, Grosjean through and he's into 13th position. Masterful move from Grosjean. Literally, every single move I've seen has been clean as a day. In terms of racing, fantastic to watch. I did say to Alex, normally when we get a good race around here, it normally comes in buckets, and that's exactly what we're getting. Grosjean through into 13 on the back of Spicer, got the job done, and in the end, Grozny back on the back of Rotterdam, looking to try and get back at him. but in the end not getting the job done as Devon leads, Rick in second, Aurelian in third, and here comes Axelino again on the back through the banking. Not quite close enough. Eurona's quite close though to the back of Mateo towards turn number 1. All heating up with 4 laps to go, and it's heating up too bad because Jerome goes into the back, and there's wing damage there from Yabraka, I think, as well. Keki takes full action up into 6th. Yabraka has got damage, right side end plate damage on the car. Mateo just got spun by outbraking Jerome towards turn number 1. Very undeserved, as Rydal has gone for spin as well through turn number 1.
Yeah, indeed, it's some mistakes now happening. That is, what a shame for VIR. We've already seen Daniel already getting unlucky at the start of this race. What will these drivers feel now? Yabraka now with wing damage as well. And, yeah, very far on the curb as well. The turn-in is just gone. And now I suppose he's going to have to bring home anything he possibly can to ensure a solid point scoring position. But what a shame for the team. The worst luck I've seen perhaps in this entire race. And yeah, they'll be so unhappy, and so it's just so unfortunate as well. I mean, what can you do about these? As Yabraka, he's also made up so many places in this race too. No fault of his own. What a shame.
Yeah, and if I was in Yabraka's shoes, I'd be staying out because I want the points. He's there in 7th. I think he can keep that 7th position as well towards the end. He is losing time, but with only 3 laps to go, is he going to lose 2.7 seconds? That's what the VIR team have got to think. He's quicker down the straight as well. I'd be saying Yabraka stay out, and that's exactly what he is doing to try and consolidate that 7th position. Try to consolidate 3rd position. Not that easy because the Shazoo boys are once again under pressure from the NLR man. Axelino there in 4th, on the back of Aurelian and Rick. Rick in 2nd, Aurelian there in 3rd, doing a fantastic job at this stage of the race. But Devon leading the way by 7.9 seconds. It's because Rick obviously gave that bit of slipstream to Aurelian, try and keep him within inside a 2nd. The Shazoo tactics at the minute not having to work, but Axelino, the game plan for NLR clear. They want that 2nd position, they want it with that 1 man, and do you know what? If Shazoo back up Axelino's going to be backed up into Keki, so it's actually not going to be all too bad for the NLR man.
Yeah, indeed. I think Keki, one of the quietest races perhaps I've seen on this entire grid, and yet he's made his way up from 15th all the way to 6th. So if this Shazoo team tactic works out the way you've just pointed it out, you never know. Keki might just get invited into this train for the final lap or so. As, yeah, he's still 1.5 seconds down, but I think some moves, the only moves I think we can see are going to be on the final lap. But certainly not for the lead for Devon here.
Enzo, I think, challenging the feelings of the VIR team, by the way, in the chat, saying, it's time to start Spotify with Losing My Religion from REM. Very good song, by the way, very good song. Mateo, though, trying to gain the position on the back, coming through Hugenholz at turn number 3. Yabraka, though, was going to make that Red Bull look as wide as possible, even with that front wing damage. This is why I've said he can stay 7th, because that front wing damage is going to back Mateo up. Silu, Phoenix are going to be involved in this as well. Coming through Skyfly, perfect from Yabraka. All he has to do is literally stay ahead of him. Mateo, though, I know impatience is going to get the better of him. Is he going to go for the clean move, though, coming out of turn number 9, in toward the CM.com, at turn 10. At turn number 10, tries to get the job done to the inside line. Yabraka holds firm and is still much quicker than him because of the tyre compound as Rydal again has spun. Mateo again looks to the inside line, but still not good enough. Your own, by the way, all of a sudden, on the back of Axelino, coming out of Ari Lundijk at turn number 14. Devon leads the way. Shazoo looks secure, I think, for 2nd and 3rd. Your own can't gain in towards turn number 1. Mateo, though, could gain on the back of Yabraka. Yabraka, though, has got much more EOS, burning down the straight. Perfect stuff from the Yabraka.
Beautiful.
If VIR are listening to me in terms of the tactics here, this is perfect. As Mateo looks to the outside line at turn number 1, tries to get the up and under, and now goes for turn number 2 at Gerlach. Maybe in towards turn number 3 Hugenholz. Round the outside, I would think. On the banking, it does give you the extra traction, but Yabraka is still there. He is still absolutely fighting this. Really deservedly so, and this is brilliant to watch out for. Devon leads the way, Rick in 2nd. There's nothing really happening toward the front end of the field, which is why we're covering this. In the end, though, is Yabraka going to lose this 7th position? Mateo, right on the back rim, and gets a much better run coming out of turn number 8. And surely this is it for Mateo to the inside line. And after Yabraka's stoic defence, he's still there and towards turn number 10. Cascades into the side of him. Not going to work. And Sadi was round in that as well. Devon, though, through Ari Lundijk, through the final corner, on the run to the line. 7.9, 8 seconds clear, and Devon takes the race win in the Netherlands as Rick comes to the line to finish in second. In the end, Yabraka didn't deserve that. He had the nose up the inside. He was too far alongside, I think, not to back out of that. And in the end, Yabraka cascaded into the side. Unfortunate for Sali, he's going to finish, I think, in 8th. The FRL man of Phoenix is going to back him up there in 9th as well as a result of those positions. Unfortunate for Yabraka, but again, Yabraka, what Matteo did there was perfect. Matteo had an absolute perfect run coming out through the final couple of corners. Impact, I think, in Yabraka for final point scoring, or 14th and 15th even. Yabraka holds on to 14th, Impact there in 15th. And Nuth, Marcos, Daniel hop on board the DF10 train at the back of the field.
Indeed, we have Knut, Marcos, Daniel, 3 Germans right at the back here, and let's see, will any positions change, at least for some final bit of action? And it looks like it is, yes! Knut and Marcos are all the way to the pit lane, oh my word! What a finish to this Dutch Grand Prix. That is brilliant from the TF10 guys.
Marker that, please say they're in a chat together, because that would have been brilliant. Keki, by the way, gets drive of the day. One of the underdogs, as Alex mentioned in commentary there, one of the underdogs, I think, of tonight. It was absolutely brilliant to watch out for. But in the end, there is only one man, one machine that was built for tonight. That was the Ferrari of Devon, and Devon, in the end, takes the race win. Absolutely unbelievable pace that he had. In the end, took it by just shy of 8 seconds. It didn't really matter what distance he won by. It could have been 0.5 of a second. He was just too dominant out on track. Nobody could stop him. FVR once again to the top step of the podium. The Shazoo boys, though, second and third, they will be very happy. Consolidate their points there as well. But Yaron not Yaron. Devon takes the race win for FVR. Nearly put Yaron on the top step of the podium there. But in the end, Devon takes the top step of the podium. We race as one in Formula 1. What a race that was in the Netherlands.
That was an incredible performance from Devon. I mean, nothing to say about that drive. Making his move past Axelinho early on, establishing his dominance as soon as the arrow came in from the German, and never looked back. Almost 8 seconds, as you said. What can you say about that drive? That was absolutely clinical. No mistakes made at all from the Ferrari man. And what a result. I mean, could anyone have seen that gap coming? That is crazy stuff, and certainly very well deserved.
Yeah, really crazy stuff indeed. It's Devon who takes the win from Rick there in second, Aurelian there in third, Axelinho in the end in fourth, Yaron somehow fifth as well, so actually backs up the FVR points. Keki there in sixth, Matteo there in seventh, another one that was unlucky in the race. Sado in eighth, he picked up foot wing damage. Phoenix in ninth, Grozny in 10th, then Grosjean, Spicer, Rodadal, Yabraka, Impact up 15, Marcos, Nuth and Daniel, the 18 drivers that finished. Nuth, by the way, did pick up the fastest lap point as well. He finishes in 17th with that fastest lap point, so that's an extra point for the TF10 team, who will be looking to make a much more significant impact next week, certainly in terms of their pace. Both of them didn't go according to plan, certainly for the racing out on track. But I think we should try and get the top 3 in.
Indeed, shall we? I think, yeah, this is certainly going to be very, very good to hear. 2 Dutch drivers on top in this Dutch Grand Prix. I mean, you love to see it. That's all I can say. Great, great stuff. And indeed, it was Devon, Rick, and Aurelian the top 3. So 2 Shazoo men again, but 1 FVR man is what they could not beat. And wow, I mean, what a performance. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Marcador's actually saying in the chat, in the Premier 1 chat on Discord, he had 2 wheel disconnects. So I was actually potentially right down in towards turn number 1. I thought he was going all the way to the right, and I thought he's had a wheel disconnect. And I didn't want to say it on the stream, but that's exactly what I think potentially has happened. And unfortunate for VAR. VAR absolutely did not deserve the look that they had in the race. Daniel, I think Yabraka more so than Daniel. Daniel was down at the back of the field throughout the entirety of that race. But in the end, brilliant racing from second all the way through. Marcadors is getting thanked, by the way, for letting Rick pass at the start as well, which I don't think was absolutely intentional whatsoever. But I believe he had that wheel disconnect, and therefore that wheel disconnect really played into the hands of everyone else around him. And I think Nuth as well also had the cold hard compound tyres off the start, and probably 70-degree tyres potentially in terms of that. as well. But we can at least speak to the Shazoo boys. I'm not sure if Devon is going to be joining. Hopefully he will be. The FEO man, of course, currently winning here in the Netherlands. But we'll wait for Devon and give him a little bit of time to get in. Next week in the calendar, when I do get the calendar, as Markados has just sneaked in all of a sudden. Alex, what did you do?
But I'm searching you.
What's that?
Have you invited Markados by accident?
P16.
Okay,
You do?
I am, yeah. Have I actually? Oh my word.
I go, all good, all good. GG Orion, GG Rick. Bye bye.
That was the man in P16 anyway, so that was Markados. A rallying icon chat room, apparently due to a network error, which is a bit bad. I'm not sure if Rick does want to tell that to a rallying in the chat.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Perfecto. Unless I can hear a rallying. A rallying, know you hear you, by the way?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's here. He's here. I don't know what that was coming up on my screen for. He's here. Everybody is absolutely fine. And Rick is also here as well. And I'm not sure, if, as I say, if Devon is going to join. Literally, as I say that, he joins. Perfect timing. Devon takes the race win, of course, out on track. And Devon, home Grand Prix win for you. FER 1-5 as well, out on track. You must have been delighted because you absolutely dominated that race.
Yeah, of course I'm happy. Yeah, I can say this was one of my best races ever because I haven't practiced a lot. So yeah, and a 7.7 gap is, yeah, I can say for me it's insane. So yeah, very happy with this win.
A 7.7 second gap is something quite extraordinary, I think, even around the Netherlands, because we never normally see that sort of a margin around here. What for you was the main factor in terms of that gap? Was it just that the Shazoo boys just having a little bit of a moment further down the field? Was it just the pit stops? What was it that drove you to that win tonight?
Yeah, once I got in the lead, I got told by Joachim, so okay, let's push all right to the end. So yeah, that was the strategy basically. I did nothing else. So just pushed to the end.
Yeah, that man Joachim definitely needs a pay rise, I think, given the last 2 weeks of races here from France and indeed in the Netherlands tonight. Alex, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, even unrelated to that previous statement, I was going to ask about Joachim anyways, if he was your engineer again, because of that top performance. I mean, brilliant stuff. I had barely any words really for you. I would think there on top of the field, but I mean, 8 seconds. Were you really expecting to win by such a big margin? That was, I mean, a super dominant drive, and I mean, super deserved. But could you really have seen such a big gap coming?
No, because I thought of the Shazoo guys. Maybe they already are fast, but already of course drives in PHL F1, so I already thought he is going to be the main factor. But yeah, I don't know. I really thought not that I would had this big of a gap. So yeah, very happy.
I mean, brilliant stuff. I mean, congratulations. I mean, another win for FER to start the second half of the season. Great stuff, and I mean, it's great to see for this title race.
Thank you very much.
And of course, Devon, before you go, I know he was going to hot foot it there, but Singapore next week for the FER team. One of the FER team's favourite tracks, or is it a track that you just think, we'll just take the points?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the team is planning, so no comments on that.
Doesn't want to give the game plan away. I like it. We do not want to force him into the game plan being revealed on the live stream either. But Devon, go and enjoy your evening.
Enjoy your evening too.
Thank you very much indeed. We will now move on to the man in the end who finished in P2, making it a Dutch 1-2 as well. This is Mrs. Shazoo Rick. And Rick, in the end, Shazoo boys did not have the pace compared to Devon tonight. That battle for second was inevitably going to key. Second and third, probably the best out of a real bad situation that you got yourself in early on.
Yeah, yeah, we were fighting the guy in P2 when Devon was P1, So we lost a lot of time, was like 2 seconds behind already. So, and then we just played the team game, so we weren't driving that fast. But of course my teammate was P2, and we played it really well to get the 2-3 out of that situation.
Yeah, and as I say, I think second and third was probably the best you could hope for in terms of how Devon was an absolute goat out on track and just so dominant in front. What were the team tactics, by the way, added towards turn number 1 at Tarzan? Because I said in commentary it was absolutely masterful. I think Aurelian backed you up, or was it the other way around? I think Aurelian backed you up in towards turn number 1. You were trying to go around the outside, I think it was of your own, if I'm not mistaken. And you try to go all the way around the outside. If it wasn't for Aurelian, do you think you would have got that move done?
I don't really know, because he braked of course late. I had good traction around the outside, but I think he helped, of course he helped. So it was a good team effort to get that overtake done.
Yeah, as I said in commentary, it was absolutely masterful from your end as well. It was fantastic to watch out for. It was just brilliant around the outside of turn number 1. One of my favourite overtakes of the season, that is for absolute sure. Alex, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, from my side as well. I mean, I have to credit that overtake. It wasn't Axelinho, by the way. Of course, I would know this, being an NLR team member myself. But yeah, indeed. I mean, such a brilliant move there into turn 1, and definitely some help being offered from your teammate. I think it looked so good on stream as well. So for all I know, I can only say congratulations for 2 and 3. I think this is the best you could have got out of that race, and I think you can be very happy with your performance after all. I mean, with how close qualifying was, do you think anything more was possible overall?
I don't think anything more was possible, because when we came out of the pits I was like 1.8 seconds ahead of my teammate, but I backed off the throttle so he could get in the DRS, and I did that like 4 times in the whole race, so the gap was building and building. Because we were just like P1 we're not gonna get, so we are playing for P2 and P3.
Yeah, great execution, I can only say, and congrats. And 2 and 3, double podium, so consistent over the season, brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and my final question as well before you go, Rick, of course, it is Singapore next week. Shazoo, looking to try and back up on terms of that second and third, of course, out on track tonight. How do you think you'll get on around there?
I don't know driving yet, but probably we'll get both drivers in the podium positions again, because we have a stronger lineup.
Yeah, and I think that is maybe a bit of a look into the FER lineup in terms of Devon and your own being fielded 2 weeks in a row there as well. Shazoo certainly do have a strong lineup, as do FER, of course. It's fantastic to watch, and of course consolidating that team lead as well is absolutely crucial. Go and enjoy your evening, Rick.
Yeah, same mate. Thank you.
You are very welcome indeed. We'll move on to the man, of course, who finished in P3, my favourite Frenchman. He is back again. It is Mr. Shazoo Aurelian. And Aurelian, in the end, as I said to Rick, second and third, best situation, I think, out of what was just goat-like pace from Devon ahead.
Yeah, P2 and P3 was the best we could have done. Yeah, it was teamwork. I didn't had a very strong pace, so yeah, Rick helped me to get the GRS 3 or 4 times, so thanks to him. Like this, I was able to have the GRS and to defend on Axelinho. Unfortunately, I lost the position during the race, but Rick broke the GRS on Axelinho, and I was able to save battery, and I had like 50% GRS, and I was able after to surprise him a bit and to try around the outside. I think it was a nice move, so I was happy of this. And overall, Yeah, P2 and P3 was the best we could have done because yeah, Devin was really quick.
Yeah, and for a PSGLF 2 man to outdo a PSGLF 1 man, I think it is just saying something, perhaps in terms of where Devon's pace actually was tonight as well. But you mentioned that, obviously, the second and third position. You mentioned that battle with Axelinho. Were you fearful of Axelinho at any stage in that race?
He afraid me a little bit. He moved a little bit late when I overtook him, but it was fair. At least I overtook him, so it's okay.
Which is not certainly music to the ears of the man sitting to the right hand side of me, because he is a part of NLR, of course.
yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic race to watch out for. And from your end as well, that move that you made Rick go around the outside, I think it was Axelinho in the end of the day, through turn number 1. Was that planned from coming out through the final corner? Because it certainly looked planned to me.
When I was P2?
Yes.
Yeah, I tried maybe... yeah, I tried to slow down a bit in the apex, to slow down Axelinho, and to help a bit Rick around the outside, and it worked. So honestly, I don't remember if I have done it on purpose, but maybe I didn't brake, but I left the throttle for sure.
Yeah, you lifted the throttle for sure, and then you gained that EOS back, which I think just says it was on purpose. But honestly, it was perfect. We were literally lauditing every single amount of plaudits your way into Rick's way as well, because it was well put off. And this is coming from the NLR man who's sitting right next to me as well, saying that as well, which is just absolutely insane. And Alex, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, first of all, I've got absolutely no problems with appreciating the brilliant race craft you two have had over the entire race. I'm just saying this off the bat. Brilliant stuff from you two to get 2 and 3 there back in the end. Yeah, from my side, I don't really have too many questions, but I probably have to come back a little bit to qualifying, because this has obviously basically been the main talking point. There was this obviously first glitch moment where you got your grip penalty for no reason whatsoever due to that train. Of course, you must have felt a little betrayed there, but it was undone in the end. Did it do anything maybe to disrupt your rhythm a little bit from quali to race? Of course, with the break wasn't good as well, but do you think your rhythm was broken up at all between this quali and race, or were you fine with this overall?
The quali lap was fine, but in practice I did a little bit better, so I was a bit disappointed of this, but it was still not bad. And then yes, I got the biggest problem I have ever seen for me.
Oh.
So it was really strange, the glitched. I got 10 seconds.
Just why?
It was yeah, really strange.
Terrible.
And I was joking in the party saying that if we are not getting restart, I kill everyone.
You wouldn't have been wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, can't wait for F1 23, right? Just
Yeah,
an announcement came in today. Can't wait myself either.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was really confused when seeing this. This is the first time I see this.
Oh
Yeah.
well, can't change this great game. Oh
we
well,
learn-
it is what it is.
We learn yeah, every race we are learning new things about the game.
Yeah. Very well said.
I couldn't echo those words myself, but honestly, yeah, I totally agree with that. I really do agree with that as well. And finally, of course, from me, Aurelian, Shazoo Boys holding that championship lead going into Singapore. The final race, of course, before the final break week. What are the team's thoughts going into Singapore? Are you ready to outperform FVR once again?
I hope. But yeah, I think maybe we will. I raced 2 times in a row, so maybe maybe the manager will let some. Maybe we will have a turnover. So yeah, no idea what's the team planning.
Yeah,
for the lineup.
Yeah, I mean it's a strong lineup, anyways. I mean you could feel anyone,
of
you're
course.
still gonna be top 4, top 5.
Yes.
But no, go and enjoy your evening, Marion.
Thanks, you too, guys.
Very
Thank you.
welcome indeed. And that rounds us up very neatly indeed for EML Premier 1 tonight. A big thank you, of course, to Rick, to Devon, and to Rallying for joining us in terms of the interviews. Much appreciated, of course. As always, we go to my most hated track on the Formula 1 game. It is Singapore next week, of course, for EML Premier 1. But Singapore, honestly, in terms of team racing, this could be a make-or-break race for FVR and Shazoo. They don't deliver next week, Alex. Either of them could possibly wrap up the championship leading to after the break week.
Yeah, I think even the break week itself being in that spot after Singapore as well might be doing something psychologically as well, because we had obviously a very strong period now from FBR, but still Shazoo being able to rack up very strong points to their competition. I think it's really well done from them, of course. I mean, you can't discount any of the jobs that they've been doing. But yeah, Singapore, this qualifying decides so much there as well, but so does the race strategy, and I think, yeah, apologies, there is definitely a very, very good race to come. Although, yeah, as you said, your most hated track for commentary, in all honesty, I have commentated precisely one race, I think, at Singapore. I told myself I didn't want to do it again, but here we are. But no, certainly this team event racing, as you said, I mean, there's going to be so much team tactics involved in this, particularly due to the slow nature of the Singapore track. And yeah, it's certainly one to be excited about, as today, of course, also did deliver a very, very good race against perhaps maybe our expectations a little bit. Very clean as well for the most part, so we can only hope this continues on into Singapore and we'll have another belter, because to be honest, today another really, really great race just to add to the brilliant collection we've had so far. And just from a neutral perspective, keep this up, guys. Brilliant stuff. Can't wait if this continues like this.
Honestly, race of the season for me. I think this tonight in Netherlands, brilliant stuff throughout. Absolutely close qualifying. 11 drivers separated by 2 1/4 tenths of a second is just absolutely insane, even to say off the tip of the tongue. But for all of these guys, I'm proud of every single person, even though VIR didn't have the best race. TF10 didn't have the best race. If they had clean races, they would have most certainly been up in that fight as well. It would have been a lot closer. But it's if buts and maybes in Formula 1, and at the end of the day, we were still treated fantastic racing, and hopefully we'll get more of the same, of course, for the coming days as well, because TML F1, I believe, is going to be live tomorrow night. I hope it's going to be live tomorrow night. We've currently got 10 drivers down to race for F1. I've just literally checked, which is not that great. However, because we cancelled last week, I don't think I want to cancel again this week. So I think the race is probably going to go ahead unless there's late dropouts. F2 as well is going to be live on Friday night, and that, of course, both of them are going to be at 8 PM UK time. Myself and Mike taking to the action for F1, and myself and Mike again for F2 on Friday, which is going to be really good indeed. And of course, that is unless I get called up to do WR console potentially on Friday as well, which might be the case. If I'm not there on Friday, you know why. And we've got more action to come on Friday. Speaking of Friday, on League Racing TV, we have got qualifying night for the EML. Now I need to get this right, because I will be fired if I don't. Give me a second. It is the EML Challenge Cup, or the EML Premier Challenge Cup, which is, of course, the new PC only league that we are developing, of course, here in the Esports Challenge Cup. That's what it is. It is our first delve into PC ever, actually, on League Racing TV, and indeed an EML TML no matter what leagues we've had in the past, I will first delve into PC really. Italy, of course, is qualifying night. We have got 14 teams, I believe, looking to qualify for 10 spots. I can tell you who those teams are as well. And those teams are, when I do get them up eventually, they will come to me very soon. And we have got, in the end, when I get it, eventually, I hope.
Drum roll.
So in qualifying night, I think this is qualifying night for, or is this actually for Esports Challenge Cup? Regardless, I'm going to read it out. Ferrari Talent Factory in Ferrari. Red Bull haven't got a team assigned them just yet. Mercedes TF10 are in there as well. McLaren FVR representing McLaren. Alpine, no team announced for that. Valo Gaming in for Haas, which are delighted to have them on board, of course. Team Shazoo in for Alfa Romeo. AlphaTauri represented by TTL Esports. Williams represented by NLR Esports, the good old NLR Esports, who can forget about them. And Aston Martin for Team QRT. And I think payment is waiting on TTL, Valo, FBR, TF10 and Talent Factory to race for the Esports Challenge Cup. And of course, that deadline is up and coming. I believe it'll be before next week's first race of the championship. Also reserved, by the way, CRD Esports, who I've never heard of in my life, if I've got to be honest. But the CRD team, of course, are reserved. Congratulations to them on reserving. I believe, actually, they might be... I've seen a couple of the guys, I think, on EML before on PS side. So, should be very fun to watch. And that, of course, is Nathan Richards and alongside him in the commentary box, my PSGL F2 co-commentator, Mr. Moore Games. Coral Moore is going to be alongside him in the commentary box. I think that is the ultimate GOAT pairing on PC, potentially. Brilliant to have them on board, and they're going to be taking you through all the action, of course, on Friday, and that is, of course, going to be at, I believe, 9 PM UK time, if I'm not mistaken. I did see 9 PM mentioned a little bit earlier on. Thank you, by the way, to the 9 of you that are still watching us waffle on at the end of this live stream. We are going to end it off here, though. You'll be absolutely delighted to know, but we always like a waffle here on League Racing TV. Big thank you to everyone that tuned in. If you did like the race and indeed qualifying, like, comment, subscribe both streams, and tick the notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. As I say, TML F1 should be live tomorrow. TML F2 should be live as well on Friday. We, of course, are going to be back then. But until then, for myself and Alex, from us here in Zandvoort, thank you so much for watching. And until next week in Singapore, Doi.
Doi.